Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Cecilia here. If you know my channel well, then you know I'm all about travel. I'm all about new skills, new experiences, and checking things off my bucket list. So today, I know it sounds a little bit harsh, my title, the reasons why you will never travel, but allow me to explain in a minute. Welcome back guys. As I was telling you, there's a story behind this harsh title. So when I was 22, I was still in Kenya. I happened to be in a conversation with an older lady. She was like 52. So I remember we had a conversation and I asked her how she traveled, because she had traveled to like 35 countries at that time, and all on a Kenyan passport, and that was like unheard of for me. So we were talking and she asked me, okay, well then where would you like to go? And I told her I would love to go to Paris, and I didn't know why, but I wanted to go to Paris. I wanted to go to Mexico for some reason, and I told her but I can do it because of 1, 2, 3, 4, and I gave her like a million reasons. I gave her like a million excuses why I cannot go to Paris or why I cannot go to Mexico. And she listened to me whine and complain and everything. And after I finished, you know what she told me? She was like, that's why you never travel. And I was like, how dare she? She doesn't know my story. She doesn't know me. Why would she come to such a conclusion? And you know what? She was not sympathetic with me. She did not try to make me happy or anything. She was like, that is the reason why you'll never travel, because you have more reasons why you should not travel than reasons why you should. You're not taking steps towards your passion. You're not taking steps towards traveling. You are not finding reasons why you should, but at the tip of your mouth you have reasons why not. And I was like, oh my god, I was actually very, very offended. This is 22-year-old me. I was very offended, and it did not even take 1 year before I realized actually she was right, because I had done nothing at that point. I knew I wanted to travel. I did not even have a passport. And I wanted to travel, you know. So she started a fire in me, which was about taking steps, doing something for that you want. So I wanted to share with you today about the 10 things I've heard until now, because more often than not I find myself in the same conversation through the years. Why people want to travel, where they want to travel to, and why they haven't gone there. So here are the 10 most used excuses or reasons why people do not travel. I hope that you find out which ones are your excuses, and then you find a way to overcome them and maybe make a step towards traveling. But this is strictly for people who love traveling. If you don't like traveling, I understand. I totally understand. There are a lot of other things that you can do in life. But if you're like me and you like to travel, you don't know how or what is hindering you, maybe it's the reasons you're giving yourself. So the very, very first excuse that I've had like a million times is, I can't afford it. This is a very valid excuse, let me say, in a way, because I don't know if it's a culture thing, but we always thought of travel to be this gigantic plan that will that you'll have to empty your account, or you'll have to save for years before you can do that. And I know when you're coming from Kenya, a lot of flights are more expensive than when you're going to Kenya. I understand that part, but that does not mean that is impossible. Because when you look at a place like Paris, if you get a visa for Paris, you just compare prices, compare which months are cheaper, look at when the weather is not as good. I know that sounds crazy, but if it's sunny and it's summer and everything, then everything is so expensive. So in winter you find very good cheap prices for Paris or for other places in the world. So it's all about first finding out how much does it really cost, and which months are better or are better. Can I save for it? Can I take a second job? It's possible. That's all I mean. It is expensive to travel, but it is not impossible. So if you are thinking about traveling and you think that cost is your biggest reason why you're not traveling, I would suggest that you start with cheaper options. Like, you start with cheaper destinations. I don't have time. You know why I know this is not viable? Because I use this a lot also. I don't have time. I do not have time. I work a lot, blah 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 blah. And it's true, I work a lot and I have a lot in my life. But if traveling means anything to you, you will make time for it. A destination. I only want to go to China, and if I'm not starting with China, then I don't know how to travel. I don't know how. And if I can understand if the only goal you have is to go to China, that is okay. But if you have a passion for traveling, you want to see new places, you want to expand your traveling mind, let me say, then you shouldn't be so choosy with destinations. You should start with what you can, start with where you are. If you are in Kenya, go to Mombasa. Why not? If you are in Nakuru, have you been to Eldoret? If you are in Nairobi, have you been to Thika? Why not? That is traveling also. You've seen something new. That is how it starts, and then it gets a momentum on its own. It's like a snowball, and then eventually you'll find yourself going to China. But start with destinations that are manageable at the moment, and then you can always advance. The fourth, and actually one of the lamest excuses I've ever heard, is culture and language. I don't speak the language. I don't speak French. I can't go to France. I don't speak Spanish. I can't go to Mexico. Why? What? Like, I don't know. People put a lot of barriers that are not there, because I will tell you that in most of the countries I've been to, people can speak English. And those that cannot, I'm telling you that there's a universal way of talking with people, because we are all the same. People will understand what you need. So saying I won't travel because I can't speak the language is not an excuse. That is not an excuse. That is for someone who doesn't really want to travel. But for people who really want to travel, you either learn the language, or you go and speak the language you speak, because it does not change anything. If I can go to a place and look at the architecture, go to the museums, have a drink, eat something, I don't need to learn French to enjoy all that in France. I don't have to. So that is one of the excuses I don't really get. If you think that is valid, let me know, because I don't see why. I never understood that point. I don't have a visa for it. And I understand this point, because oh my god, if I say visa, then everybody will leave me alone, because I really cannot. I don't have a visa. No, visas can be applied for. You can get a visa. You apply for one. It will take some time, it will take some money, but you have to apply for one. And let me tell you, there are a lot of countries that you can go to without a visa. That is, I'm talking to my Kenyan brothers and sisters, because I'm Kenyan. I can only talk from a Kenyan passport perspective, and I'm telling you, there are a lot of countries that you do not need a visa for. Let's start with the simplest. Tanzania. Have you been to Tanzania? You haven't been, and you want to travel. That is one of the things I'm saying. It's only excuses, because we don't need a visa for every country in the world. There are those countries you can start with that don't need a visa, and for those that you need a visa for, apply for one. It's too much planning. There are people who have the time, they have the money, they have a destination, but it's too much work. It is too much work. I don't know what to say to such a person. I don't have any advice for them. You just have to do it. You just have to plan. But that is something that I've realized with traveling. It's a lot of work. If you really want to find the best prices, you want to find the best value for your money, you will have to do some planning. I'm afraid people have a lot of fears when it comes to traveling also, because it's a new place, it's a new country you're not used to it. It's new food, it's a new law, and there are a lot of things that come into mind when people are fearful of traveling, and I can understand that. But there is power in information. If you get enough information about the places you want to go to, you'll be equipped enough to know when to go there, what kind of food you'll eat there, what kind of drinks are you allowed to drink at all or not. You will at least be informed as far as law is concerned with those countries. So it's all in the research, it's all in the information you can gather before you travel. And I would say just take your time. I don't have company. Nobody wants to go with me, they're all busy, I don't have anybody interested in traveling. And I hear you, because I had this for some time where I didn't have anybody I could travel with for some time. And you know what, I tried to travel alone. I know people have a lot of concerns when it comes to solo traveling, but once you try it and you find out that you can enjoy your own company in another country, once you try it out, then you'll never think of it as something you have to go to with someone. Okay, I understand there are destinations that I definitely want to go with someone. Like there's some romantic destinations I want to take my guy with me, or there are some party destinations that are just boring when you're alone. But there are a lot of places you can go alone. So you have to first of all know that it is safe, because safety comes first. And then after that, you can always find a person or a group online, or a group of people who are trying to travel, and you can always join them. And that is Rocky down there enjoying his time in the water. So yeah, number 9, age. I'm too old or I'm too young. That's also an excuse. I'm telling you, the excuses. Too old. That does not apply. Too old is not. I have seen people in my travels that are in wheelchairs and in crutches, or crunches, what are they called? There are people who have a lot of issues and conditions, and they have pain everywhere, and they still travel. So age is not a limitation actually. Some also say I'm too young. That means I'm a student, I cannot travel. What does that mean? You can do anything you want, as long as you are over 18 and you have a passport, you have a visa for the country you want to go to. You can do it. It does not matter if you're 18 or 20. Of course, like I said, safety comes first. But if you're safe and you can make the arrangements, there's no age. You cannot say that you're too old or too young. So guys, another reason that people do not travel is they try to be too perfect. They want it to be too Instagram worthy, or too perfect for pictures and photos. And that is not a true passion for traveling, because if you really want to go somewhere, do it for you first. Do it for you. If you are trying to go to Naivasha, don't just go because of Instagram, because if you do that, you will find yourself having to look for expensive meals, expensive hotels, expensive everything, because you want to keep up that image, and it's not worth it. So if you're doing it as a passion, traveling as a passion, then leave the perfect, trying to make everything perfect side aside. Because it will only be in your nerves, it will only cost you a lot, and it's not, at the end, it's not going to be for yourself. So if you're doing that for yourself, plan according to how much time you have, what you can afford, what is locally available. Don't stretch too much for the sake of pictures and Instagram and all that. So don't try to be too perfect, just do it. So guys, those are the reasons that I've heard a lot when people don't travel, or why people do not travel. If you have more, let me know in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed, do so, and you will be notified every time I travel or when I do a new activity. Yeah, so thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.